You might have seen my Poker 3 mechanical keyboard in most of my videos or Instagram posts. I prefer smaller 60% keyboards for all my editing work, but my keyboard is wired and I was craving for something new, maybe something with RGB lighting. So I was quite intrigued by this 75% keyboard with its hefty aluminium build and multiple wireless options. This is the Qeeke. This is the Qeeke KR081 75% mechanical keyboard with gator and switches. This is a pre-production unit, and while the cyberpunk style packaging is already in its retail form, I didn't get the final USB cable. Full disclosure, I got this keyboard for free. But all of my opinions are my own and the brand sees this video the same time as you do. Furthermore, they don't have any say in this video, of course. Check out my ethics statement in the description below. The first very notable positive is the incredible build of this keyboard. It is fully made out of aluminium and that is immediately noticeable in its weight and cold touch. So it won't move around on your desk, but with this weight I will never use this to travel around with. Traveling with the keyboard was actually one of the reasons why I decided to buy a 60% keyboard in the first place. With this kind of heft, I anticipated a loud and hefty button press feeling, but these gatoring switches are so smooth and pleasant in their feel and sound. I really like them, but there is a downside to them, more on that later. As mentioned in the introduction, my Poker 3 is wired with an old mini USB cable. Why the hell the Poker 3 uses such an old port, I have no clue. So the multiple different connections on the Qeeke are quite welcome. Not only you have a USB-C connection, but also you can use Bluetooth and a USB dongle for even more reliable connections. On most of my computers over all of these years, I always had some connection errors with Bluetooth, which is why I always use the USB dongle on all of my peripherals like the Logitech MX Master mouse instead of Bluetooth. That is why I really like the USB dongle that is inside this hidden magnetic tray. If this keyboard wasn't so heavy, this would have been my perfect travel keyboard to use on different workstations. In addition to the reliable wireless connection to the USB dongle, there is an 8000 mAh battery inside. I did not measure or stress test the battery inside this keyboard because I just didn't want the keyboard's battery running low during a job, but I feel like 8000 mAh is plenty enough for your needs. To switch between Bluetooth and wireless connection via USB dongle, you have this metal switch, another indicator of this incredible build. I'm not a gamer, but I have seen some gamers playing in this style, so I wonder if you might bump against this switch during heavy and fast gameplay. But on the other hand, I imagine gamers prefer a wired connection anyways. The switches inside this board are hot swappable, meaning you can remove them to exchange the Gateron switches to any other switch that you prefer. I never owned a hot swappable keyboard before, and when I received the keyboard, the V button did not work. At first I thought the keyboard was damaged, but after a short conversation via email with the manufacturer, they told me just to take out the switch and put it back in. This actually resolved the issue, so I assumed that this switch got loose during transport or wasn't inserted correctly from the factory. So this issue was solved in the end and actually isn't that big of a deal, but still something I wanted to mention. Speaking of the switches, while I love the feel and the sound of these switches, for my personal use case they are way too sensitive, so just a light press already activates the button. I like to hover my hands over the keyboard whenever I'm looking through all of the footage that I'm editing at the moment, so I had a lot of accidental button presses while I was editing. This is definitely something I could get used to over time, but it was really annoying while I was working. Something that I can't get used to is not having my arrow keys on WASD. On my Poker 3 I programmed the caps lock button to a FN key and my WASD as my arrow keys whenever caps lock is pressed. This makes working so much faster. You can program the Qeeke keyboard with an additional software, but I like to keep my editing workstation as clean as possible, and I don't want too many programs running at the same time in the background while I'm editing. So this is just a personal preference and a personal issue with the Qeeke keyboard, and probably isn't that much of a big deal for you if you don't mind to install any software. Bottom line, I really like this keyboard. The buttons feel and sound amazing. The build quality is incredible and it looks cool. That being said, not having the option to program this keyboard without any additional software, and to me the rather sensitive button presses, make this a little bit difficult for me to use on my day-to-day regular work. That is why I won't use this keyboard for all of my film editing work. But honestly, this is just for my personal needs. So if you don't mind the rather sensitive button presses and you don't need a programmable keyboard, or you don't mind to install extra software, then I can highly recommend the Qeeke KR081 mechanical keyboard. And now I would like to know from you, do you use a mechanical keyboard? If yes, which one do you use? Let me know in the comment section below. And like always, if you have any more questions, also comment below. And if you enjoyed this video, click the like button. And please feel free to subscribe to my channel and click that little bell icon so you won't miss the next videos. Also check out my Instagram at YouKnowTheBow. Stay safe and healthy everyone, and I see you in the next videos. Thank you very much.